I think who owns the media is critical in any country, because the media, the combined media organizations, newspapers, radio stations, everything, has a huge effect on public perception. It's a huge effect on how politics is covered, how people perceive their politicians. In all sorts of ways, the public has a right to know who's pushing the buttons, who's behind editorials, who's behind the ownership of, and who pays the salaries of journalists. I think journalists need to call for that just as much as the public, and it serves everybody that transparency means that we can all know from what perspective different organizations are coming from. In general, it is, but it's like many places, it's complicated. So there is a recent issue in Ireland around what the definition of a control is, where if one person owns a stake in a company to a certain degree, does that constitute control? And to what extent does them acting in concert with other individuals constitute control? So it is complicated, but in general, you can find out from like a company's registrations office who owns the shares in a company if it's publicly listed. But if it's not publicly listed, you might know who the investors are, but sometimes you don't know whether those investors are acting on behalf of other individuals. So yes and no, I suppose, is the short answer. You can find out, but there's variables.
So you don't really know who the real or beneficial owners are? You
might not know, yeah. And I think it's critical that you do know, but finding it out can be quite difficult. And a bit like how offshore tax havens or all sorts of different vehicles operate, it's not always clear who ultimately is pulling the strings. I can't think of any reason at all why the public or society at large should not know who owns any media organization, because I can't think of any rights that would be violated by that becoming public, and I can't think of any benefits that would accrue by being secret. The public has the right to know who is controlling media organizations because of their special role in society.